San Diego. We're the second largest city in California. 70 miles of beaches and an average of 270 sunny days a year. More than just a pretty face. We've got the biggest zoo, the biggest whale, and we're the avocado capital of the world. Well, at least the United States, and that's not bad. Maybe I'm biased because I've been here my whole life, but does it get any better than this? I don't think so. La Jolla. It's known as the Jewel of San Diego. Actually, no one really knows where the name originated, whether it comes from the Spanish word La Jolla, which means the jewel, or from the Native American term Huajole, meaning hole in the mountains. After taking a good look around, I'm kind of leaning towards the jewel, but if you're a local, you call it the village. In 1850, La Jolla became incorporated as part of San Diego. And in 1886, a gentleman by the name of Frank Botsford paid a visit to the area and wrote in his diary, "A magnificent day at La Jolla." Botsford purchased some land at $1.25 an acre and began developing it. His actions and vision earned him the title as Father of La Jolla. I wanted to find out more about the history of the area, and I was told the place to do that is the La Jolla Historical Society. As I came in, the first person I met was Carol Olton. Carol's a local historian, full of information. Her main qualification is the fact that she's been in La Jolla forever. I also met Cara West. Cara is the archivist and curator. Both her and Carol were very nice and really informative. Just as I had hoped, the little cottage was packed with tons of historical items, and I don't mean just photos.
La Jolla Historical Society has some very unusual artifacts, actually, including this tombstone that belonged to Queenie, who died February 28, 1930, age 14 years, here in La Jolla, on the Ellen Browning Scripps estate. Queenie was a very famous dog here. It belonged to Ms. Scripps' chauffeur.
There were many things to see, but first I needed to put on these official white gloves. Feeling like a true curator, I was ready. The first thing I saw were these oversized books, which contain old issues of newspapers. They were in great shape, and it was interesting to see the old articles and read the headlines. Next, Cara brought over some old postcards of La Jolla and San Diego in the early 20s and 30s. They almost look like paintings. Then, Carol was showing me these drawers full of original blueprints of homes in La Jolla when we happened to stumble upon this one, Mr. and Mrs. T.S. Geisel. T standing for Theodore and S standing for Seuss, or better known as Dr. Seuss. I heard he had lived in La Jolla, and I also heard he wrote all of his books in the bedroom of his house. Could this be that house? I don't know. Either way, it's pretty cool. Cara said the society was growing rapidly, and to accommodate that growth, they were moving into the Wisteria Cottage, which is located next door. So we took a little walk to get a look inside before the big move. The Wisteria Cottage used to be the John Cole's bookstore, and Carol said upstairs in the attic, Dr. Seuss would spend his afternoons reading, and John Burroughs, the naturalist, lived here for a few months. My time with Carol and Cara was great. I love history, and I can't wait to see how the new place looks when it's all finished. La Jolla has always been a big draw for many artists, and why not? The place is beautiful. Back in 1894, a woman by the name of Anna Held developed a group of cottages and named them the Green Dragon Colony. The Green Dragon was a place where artists could come and live for free, be creative, and express themselves. Those who stayed said they found it a very fulfilling place to be. I'd be pretty fulfilled too if I was living in La Jolla for free. Today, La Jolla is a hotbed for famous artists. Weiland's here, and the Wentworth Gallery has a Picasso original. In fact, you could be sitting right next to somebody famous and not even know it. Meet Henry Diltz. I asked Henry to take my photograph, and come to find out, he's got a little gallery of his own on Prospect called the Morrison Hotel. Funny name for a gallery, you say? Not after hearing the story behind it. Back in the 60s, Henry was part of a band called the Modern Folk Quartet. During this time, he purchased a little $20 camera and began photographing not only his band, but some of his friends that were in the same Laurel Canyon music scene. From that point, let's just say Henry's photography career began to rock. When we came into his gallery, the first photo Henry shows me is this one. That's Joni Mitchell, David Crosby, and Eric Clapton. They're at a backyard birthday party for Mama Cass's daughter, Owen. I quickly realized Henry has some friends. Soon, his reputation spread, and he becomes the photographer of choice among rock and roll's elite. As he shared with me picture after picture, the only word I could find to express myself was wow. I was totally blown away to see legends like the Stones, Jackson Browne, and The Who. Ever heard of Woodstock? Well, Henry was on stage with them all, including Jimi Hendrix. As you can imagine, with each photo, Henry has some amazing stories, like this one with Paul McCartney.
This picture was taken in the Virgin Islands when Wings were recording London Town. I got a call from the McCartneys, and they asked if I wanted to fly down to the Virgin Islands and spend a week with them on these boats. They recorded the whole thing on these boats, on 3 boats floating on Watermelon Bay.
No.
This picture of James Taylor was taken in his manager's apartment. Peter Asher called me one day and said, "We need some publicity photos of James. Would you come over to the house and do some?" And so when I walked in, he was sitting on the floor there playing, he was playing Oh Susanna, finger picking it. And being a musician myself, I went, oh my God, that is so great. And I asked him to play it again, and I just sat right down on the floor and took that picture. And then I said, you know, we need some more light, so let's, we'll go over to this friend's house that has a barn. Mm-hmm. And so a little while later we left, and we went over here to my friend Cyrus's house, okay. And we took this picture in front of his barn, which became the Sweet Baby James cover.
When Henry decided to open his gallery, he was searching for a name when he recalled a photo session with Jim Morrison and the Doors.
So this was the photo that was used on the cover of their Morrison Hotel album cover. And this was in fact a real hotel in downtown LA, and it was a kind of a flop house, you know, a transient hotel. It says rooms $2.50 and up. Yeah. And so we went in here to take the photo, and at first the guy behind the desk wasn't going to let us do it. And then I saw him leave the desk and go up in the elevator. That's the elevator light. And so I said, quick, run in there, you guys, and quick, do it while he's not looking. Which we did. 5 minutes we took this.
I could have stayed and listened to Henry all day. He's an amazing guy. The next time you're in La Jolla, you have to stop by and check in to the Morrison Hotel. It's a must-see. La Jolla has always been known for its hotels, just a different kind. The very first was the La Jolla Park Hotel.